So imagine this. Two pharmaceutical giants launch these blockbuster weight loss drugs in a huge market like India. You'd think it'd be a head-to-head race, right? Well, that's not at all what happened. One company absolutely thrived, and the other, it stumbled hard. And the reason why is a fascinating lesson in strategy.
And this, right here, lays out the central mystery. You've got Eli Lilly on the left, and you can see their market share just plummets. Then on the right, Novo Nordisk is holding strong, even growing a bit. Now get this, they're selling super similar, super effective drugs in the exact same market. It just doesn't add up. So what on earth was going on?
That's the big question we're going to unpack today. How is it possible for two major players with fantastic products to see such completely different outcomes? The answer, it turns out, has nothing to do with the drugs themselves, but everything to do with a huge market shift and two wildly different ways of responding to it.
Okay, to really get this story, we have to talk about the one thing that completely changed the game: the flood of generic drugs. This wasn't just a new competitor entering the ring. No, this was like the entire rulebook for the Indian market getting torn up and rewritten almost overnight.
Now, just to make sure we're on the same page, a generic drug is basically a copycat of a brand name drug. It's got the same stuff in it, it does the same thing, it's just as safe. But, and this is the absolute kicker, it's sold for way, way less.
And in India, this whole process happened with incredible speed. The second the patents on these weight loss drugs were challenged, India's massive local drug industry just pounced. They fired up production lines, they slashed prices like you wouldn't believe, and before you knew it, the market was absolutely flooded with affordable options. So you've got this market that's been turned completely on its head. Both companies have to do something. They have to respond to this tidal wave of competition. And what's so interesting is that they chose totally opposite strategies. Let's dig into Eli Lilly's approach first. Just look at this chart. Before the generics arrived, Eli Lilly was sitting pretty with a nice chunk of the market. But after, wow, a steep, painful drop. The results really speak for themselves here. So what was the strategy that led to this outcome? Eli Lilly went with what we could call the fortress strategy. They basically decided to trust their big, global brand. They kept their prices high, betting that people would pay a premium for the original, trusted name. They built a wall around their product and just assumed it would be strong enough to keep the competition out. All right, now let's flip over to Novo Nordisk. And this chart just says it all. Pre-generics, they've got a solid market share. Post-generics, it's remarkably stable. They basically sailed right through the storm that just wrecked their biggest rival. So how in the world did they manage that? Novo Nordisk did the complete opposite. They chose the alliance strategy. Instead of building a wall, they opened the gates. They knew they couldn't fight the local companies on price, so they joined forces with them. They partnered up, they got flexible with their pricing, and they completely adapted to the new reality. It was a classic, if you can't beat them, join them move. Now, probably the biggest result of this whole showdown wasn't just about corporate profits, it was about what it meant for everyday people. The arrival of all these generic drugs sparked a price war that was, honestly, nothing short of incredible. To put it in perspective, before all this went down, these drugs were premium products. Think of them almost as a luxury good, really only affordable for a tiny sliver of the population. For most people, that price tag meant these drugs were completely out of reach. And then this happened. The new generic versions came out at a price that was something like 80% cheaper. This wasn't just a discount, it was a total game changer. All of a sudden, these potentially life-changing medications were affordable for millions and millions of new people. So what's the big lesson here? What do we take away from all this? Well, this is way more than just a business school case study. What happened in India could very well be a sneak peek of what's coming to pharmaceutical markets all around the globe. I think this quote just nails it. India, with its huge population and its powerhouse generic drug industry, it's the perfect testing ground. The strategies that win or lose there are giving us powerful clues about how Big Pharma might have to operate everywhere else down the road. And that really leaves us with one final, huge question. For the big global drug companies, is what happened in India a warning sign, or is it a roadmap? Is it a sign that the old playbook of defending high prices is finished, and a new era of being flexible and partnering up is the only real path forward?